Guys, my handwriting is so bad. But I know what it means. Hey there, my name's TK. It's so nice to see you. If this is your first time here on this channel, I just like to talk a little bit about how I'm trying to live my life with more intention. And today we are going to get into how I plan my week and some tools that I use to kind of assess how well I'm doing in terms of advancing towards my goals. My biggest goal is to just be happier and more content and more present in my life. So that's a ongoing adventure for a moving target. Last week's video was about how I was in kind of need of a reset and a refresh in my life. And my friend Alyssa, hi Alyssa, we missed you. She asked me how I map out my intentions and then how I incorporate them into my life, and how I reset when I need and want to, which is kind of a multi-step process for me. I haven't really sat back and evaluated the efficiency and effectiveness of some of the changes I'm making in my life in a while, and this is a great opportunity to. So the first thing I want to talk about is the idea of using a performance measurement tool that a lot of businesses and companies use in order to help improve employee performance and overall team efficiency. And basically that's just sitting down and brainstorming something that you either independently or collectively need to stop doing that is interfering with your efficiency, something that you're doing well, what your strengths are, what you need to continue doing to move you closer to those goals, and something that you think if you start doing will help you be successful in the long term. And I got the idea from the goddess Amy Landino. If you are into my channel, you're going to probably love hers. Link in the description and above. She is the productivity queen. She's my favorite YouTuber, hands down. Okay, so in evaluating what I could be starting, stopping, and continuing in my day-to-day life to help me feel more content and at peace, the first thing that came to mind was my start category, and that is meditating. It's something that I've been meaning to incorporate into my day-to-day more, but it just hasn't been a high priority yet, and it needs to move up on the list because I think that taking even just 3 to 5 minutes 4 times a week could make a huge improvement, and then I can further build on that practice. And maybe it won't work. Meditation doesn't work for everyone, but I know personally that I do enjoy it and feel better when I actually make time for it. Moving closer to my goals of having a more streamlined and stress-free morning, I think that would be the obvious time to incorporate that. So morning meditation specifically is my start category. Continuing is something we're going to talk about in a little bit about how I plan out my week. I've gotten pretty reliant on my passion planner, and we're going to go over how I use that. That's something that I could even be doing a little more strictly. So I'm going to continue to use my passion planner and morning journaling to help me evaluate what I need to do for the day, what my priorities should be, and then reflect on, the day before. Yeah, that makes sense, right? The stop category wasn't so easy to identify for me personally, but I think I've come up with something that's hopefully gonna make a huge difference, and that is to stop my limiting beliefs. Like to stop freaking out about money. I want to stop assuming that I'm underqualified or no one wants to talk to me or there's no way I'll get a job that I'm interested in. I don't know that. I'm not a fortune teller, and I just don't see the harm in assuming the best case scenario. So what if I fantasize about something that never comes to fruition? At least I had that experience where I was happy for at least a little bit. So some ways that I think I can stop my limiting beliefs is to just identify those thoughts when they happen. When I say, I can't do that, that won't happen. And remind myself that I do not have a crystal ball. I cannot tell the future, and assess if there's something that I could do to make whatever it is that I would like to happen, and focus on that instead of wasting my time on negative self-talk. What I really like about the start, stop, continue method is if you are feeling totally overwhelmed, a list of 3 things to like narrow your focus into can be pretty helpful. Starting with my continue, let's map out my week. Okay, so this was my week last week. The structure of the Passion Planner is like my favorite planner I've ever used. I really need hour breakdowns. I've tried doing just like the chunk where it's like Monday, here's a bunch of lines, and it's just not as effective for me. So personally, I like an hourly breakdown, but this bad boy has a lot of other useful areas built into their weekly view. I like that there is a weekly focus. You also have an area for good things that happened. Okay, then moving down, there is a quote for the week. Moving further down in the layout, obviously there's that space of infinite possibility. I make little notes there, random ideas. It's kind of like an unstructured space. But another useful part of this layout there are 2 to-do lists that are one prioritized and then separated by personal and work categories. So now that you see what a full week looks like, let's fill it in. And there are times where I get pretty colorful with these and just bust out the markers, but recently it's been more of a 2-color process. But since I have these markers here, we'll just go for it. And then the next thing I do is I put in my work schedule. I go back to the week before and I check to see if there are any tasks that need to be carried over, which I do have a work task. Finished the bow curtains. Oh man. Did that. 2 chapters of study. That did not get done. In a way I like to do that is to just highlight the things that need to be moved over. Okay. Oh, and I need to make time to study for the project management certification I am working towards. Great. So now, since these are things that are important to me, I need to set the time in my schedule to take care of them. I like to group similar tasks. I have a lot of free time, and I have a tendency to try and overload myself with things to fill in that free time. And this week, I'd really like to take a step back and see if I can't spend my time wiser. Quote for this week is, and it's, nothing is a waste of time if you use the experience wisely. So I think me and the Passion Planner, we're in agreement. And since I will be over by my optic, I will add a library stop in there. Now that I kind of have a brain dump of a bunch of things that I am prioritizing right now in this moment, I want to make sure that I'm also doing myself justice in terms of moving towards goals that I've already identified, which is done in the mind map. And that is also built into this Passion Planner, and I was not very good at this when I started it 5 years ago. I have only recently done a better job of sticking to my intentions, largely because of this system. And it says, for the next 5 minutes, imagine that this is a magical piece of paper and whatever you write in it will come true, especially in the designated time frame. So today I did my wish list for 3 months, 1 year, 3 years, and a lifetime. And then you're supposed to go back and for each of the 4 sections, circle the one that would have the biggest impact in your life. So I'm gonna grab another color. I think, staying true to my start, I think daily meditation would be have the biggest impact for 1 year? I wrote, own a home, write a book, go to Alaska, grow my own food, eliminate all plastic waste production. I think owning my own home would have the biggest impact because Dan and I are working real hard to get those puppers a backyard. Okay. 3 years, pay off student debt, speak Spanish, enter a film festival. What would have the biggest impact long term? I think Spanish. Okay. And the lifetime category, it gets a little weird. Don't judge me. I want to save the whales, make my own clothes. I don't remember writing that, but for sure. Build a house, learn at least 3 languages, change someone's life for the better, and kayak with belugas. Okay, so we're gonna change someone's life. Those are my big 4. And now it says these are what are going to become our priorities. So the next thing is to pick your game changer, and then you're supposed to take another 5 minutes and write down everything that you think you will need to do to achieve that game changer. So I need to make meditation a daily habit. I'm going to need to wake up at 8 on Monday to make sure that I can post YouTube up and meditate. And so I should also add that to my priority list, and I'm gonna put it in a different color because man, this is an important one. Meditate, and it's 4 times. And then when I use that section as a habit tracker, I'll also do a tick mark whenever I complete that one. Now that we talked about mind mapping and making sure our priorities in the moment match our long-term goals, I also outline all the meals that I intend to make throughout the week, and then reverse engineer my grocery list. I'm working dinner Monday, which is typically when I would do that, so I'm gonna put that off for Tuesday, which I can do before my volunteer training. So I'm gonna put meal plan and grocery. Some tips for planning your week are to make sure like you put a specific time aside to do that. So we're gonna do that on Sunday. For an hour, weekly plan. The other thing I wanted to make note of is you don't have to have a packed schedule. Here are a couple images of how other people use their passion planners, and it's not so much in the hourly format as more of like a creative bullet journaling outlet. If you are interested in a passion planner, there's going to be a link in the description on where to buy that. And I'm super curious how you all are planning out your weeks. If there are any methods that you use or planners you swear by, please let me know in those comments below. If you like this style of video where you kind of like plan along with me and I walk you through how I personally do something, hit that like button. If you want to follow me on my journey to figure out how to live my life with more intention, please make sure to subscribe. I hope you have an excellent week. I'll see you later. Bye.